Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone, and special good morning to the team at the TTMA. I know it's never easy to put on an event of this size and this nature, so welcome to ladies and gentlemen all, and of course, special welcome to our presenters this morning, Anna and Earl. We're really happy to be able to do this. Anna looks very relaxed this morning, which is great. Hi, Earl.
Morning.
So I'm Nirad Tiwari. Thank you for joining us today. AMCHAM is partnering with the TTMA to put on this event, and it's around digital transformation. Everybody's talking about digital transformation. So we're trying to put on something that would be useful and practical for all of you who are here. AMCHAM T&T has been taking the lead in digital transformation, and for the last 2.5 years, our Digital Transformation Committee has been working very hard to bring knowledge to the private sector and encourage the government to adopt the measures that would allow for effective digital transformation of the country and companies. And of course, that's not just because, but it's because we want to achieve certain things. So as a country, if we adopt digital transformation, it'll be easier to do business. It'll be easier for citizens to interact with the state. And as companies, if we engage in a process of digital transformation, which really in many cases is catching up, it will enable us to be more globally competitive. So you'll see our nice digital transformation logo, this logo, very proud of it on our shirt. Last year, we would have held this conference, which brought together global players from the tech space to interact with our local private sector. It was very, very successful. We had something like 300 people attend and make connections, as well as advance some of the digital transformation conversations in the government. So we're pleased that the government would have included a number of measures for implementation, including the unique national identifier, the digital identity, e-payments for government services. These are things that we all know are not new in the world, but will make a big difference if implemented properly and quickly in how we interact with the state. So just for housekeeping, the session is being recorded. So by participating, you are consenting to continue to be recorded. We'll take questions and answers at the end, so please put them in the chat, and we will ask them because we prefer to get clarity around the questions and therefore more time. We will be completing this session at 9:30, so we're going to try and stay on time. And so this session, as you know, is about building a digital store and linking it to inventory management. Anna is the deputy chair of our Digital Transformation Committee. And when she took over what was then Massey Applied Imaging and turned it into Amaranth Business Solutions, one of the things that they did very quickly was get their digital store up and running. And I've used it. So I'm happy to say I'm also a customer and can provide somewhat of a testimonial. And Anna is going to go through sort of the business considerations. And of course, Earl is going to tell us how the software enables us to do that. But remember, having a digital store enables us to sell anywhere. So some of the considerations are how do we deliver if you're into goods. So you can sell anywhere, and it's up to you to put in place your delivery mechanisms. But let me stop talking at this point and introduce Anna Henderson. So Anna, who is a proven leader, has over 25 years experience in sales, marketing, organizational leadership, strategic management. Clearly, she was one of those people who was doing this in preschool and just organizing the class if she has 25 years experience doing that. In 2007, as Director of Sales and Marketing, she played a pivotal role in the change management needed to ensure smooth transitioning of Pereira & Company Limited from a privately owned company to a strategic acquisition in the widely known regional conglomerate Massey. With Massey's divestment of the company in 2019, she and other like-minded investors seized the opportunity to purchase the company. In October, the new company in October of last year, Amaranth Business Solutions Limited took over the operations of Massey Tech Applied Imaging. She holds a BA in marketing from the University of St. Mary's, Minnesota, and has completed leadership courses at the Richard Ivey School in London, Ontario, and Leadership Management Institute. She is considered an expert in the areas of technology, strategic leadership, and people development. Anna Henderson has also held numerous board positions, including chairman or chairwoman of the Massey Share Ownership Plan. I introduce Anna Henderson.
Thanks, Earl, and thanks, Nirad. Sorry about that. Welcome, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen and show the presentation. Nirad, is that the right showing of the presentation? Can you see my screen?
If you have a maple leaf falling, then yes, it is the right presentation.
Okay, great. All right, welcome everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much, Nirad, for asking me to be here. I'm very, very proud to be here. Special thanks to Earl for accepting the challenge of co-presenting with me on this topic. As Nirad would have said earlier, my perspective is really the business perspective, and I asked Earl to be here to share with the technological perspective of having your digital store and managing the inventory. And of course, the inventory management is not just about your physical inventory, but the inventory of your store in terms of the imaging and the things that you have to do with your store. So today, I thought I would share with you a little bit about my story, and my perspective is one of our story. We are a business-to-business organization, and we only dabble in the business-to-consumer market. I thought I would share with you the statistics of what is happening in our local market, as well as some trends globally. And then, of course, share with you what we think are good considerations for you to look at if you want to build your store, or of course, you already have a store and maybe you need to think about other things in order to grow your store. This presentation would not be without having a story around a digital transformation, and we believe that having a digital online store can aid you in the change that is required in your digital transformation journey. And then I'll talk a little bit about the operations and give you what our lessons learned were. So as Nirad would have said earlier, we were formerly a Massey company, and we're now a privately owned company. We're called Amaranth Business Solutions. Our company, or our story around being being online, really was born out of the need to be relevant. We had been losing sales in the gray market. We were recognizing that many of our customers were turning to the large organizations like an Amazon to purchase their equipment or supplies. And so we felt that we needed to create our online store, not to be able to compete against Amazon. I'm not sure how many people can do that, but certainly to show our customers our capability and flexibility in meeting their needs. We were very lucky actually at the time to have someone on our team who was an avid online user. In fact, she was one of those persons who purchased online virtually every day. And so when we began to explore what was required with our online store, we created a committee of which she was one, and her inputs to veto or put down our decisions was quite critical. I remember being in a meeting and we were discussing, okay, well, this is how we would do delivery. And we were already talking about our experience of how we would normally deliver a product to a customer. And she immediately shut that down and said, no, you have to consider the ideas of what a digital customer is looking for. And so with her input, we actually had to change what we thought was normal and recreate what our new policies and procedures would be to meet our digital online customers. Added to that, we actually needed a good partner, one who was going to be able to work with us and help us to understand what the trends were and how we could continually improve our digital store to meet our customers' needs. And as a result, our partnership with Coviz was born. And I'm really happy to report that that partnership is a very strong one. And it certainly allowed us to change what we were in the beginning to what we are today. And we have a long, long way still to go. So just really quickly for us to look at what are the statistics of your market. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see some statistics that are from the Ministry of Trade and Industry, which basically says that the Trinidad and Tobago population is quite tech savvy when it comes to social media usage, internet usage, and looking at using Facebook. We have 1.85 million mobile subscriptions, which is well above our actual population size. So we do have access as manufacturers or business owners to a population that's willing to use the technology in order to get their products and services. The downside of that, you could say, would be that only 20% of the population actually has a credit card. But there are ways around that. So immediately as a manufacturer, you can know that you have access to about 260,000 persons who have the wherewithal to purchase your products online. But on that side, you could also look at Amazon. At the click of a finger, you can set up your own store on the Amazon website. Currently, or an older statistic would show that in 2017, Amazon had over 300,000 third-party sellers. And that obviously has grown way beyond that since that time. So in having an online presence, you can do a local presence, or you can use a profile such as an Amazon, which will give you access to 2.63 billion users as opposed to 1 million users. And I just want to share with you as well, that expansive range of customers. One must also consider that a digital store doesn't always have to be about buying and selling. It can also be about electronic data interchange. It can also be about you sharing data to your distributor network, or it could also be about e-procurement, or even, dare I suggest, the payment portals. So digital stores is not limited only to buying and selling. So why would you want to open your digital store? And very broadly for us, opening our digital store was about these 5 critical components. As I said earlier, opening a digital store is as easy as opening a profile on your Amazon website, uploading your products, and there you go, integrating with your bank, and you're ready to sell. So the investment costs of opening a digital store don't have to be all that much. It does require some time, it does require some effort, it does require some understanding of what your brand personality is going to be, and what products and services you want to represent. From a local perspective, your investment is going to be a little bit higher because, of course, you have to have your own store, you're going to have your own design elements, and you do have to have an integration with a local bank, such as, I know Republic Bank is one of them. I think First Citizens also offers something like that. But overall, the investment of having a digital store is certainly a lot less than the rental of a physical brick and mortar space or building your own store in any of the larger cities across Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, opening a digital store gives you access and reach to customers not only locally, but beyond our shores. And Amazon will give you that perspective of moving not just from the local or the regional space of 6 million people, but within the US. And you can have a warehouse located in the US. Amazon can manage that for you, so that you will have access to those markets. It's not as difficult as you think it is. The digital store for us also created an online product catalog. I mean, all of you would know that having a printed catalog is an essential part of your marketing. It's how you communicate with your customers. It's how your sales team is able to show customers what you have, what you don't have. But again, many of us would have had the experience of you print a catalog, and within a week, a month, suddenly there's a change and your catalog is no longer relevant. It's no longer up to date. I'm sure many of you had the experience, a salesperson coming to you, showing you a catalog, and there's lots of red lines or crosses or writing up in the catalog because there have been all those changes. Your digital store can now be your digital catalog for your customers. Even if you aren't selling on your digital store, it is an opportunity for you to have your products and services available to anybody and anyone coming to see it and knowing what you have. And of course, updating that product catalog is as simple as changing or switching out an image or clicking a button and saying that product is no longer in stock or that product is out of stock and then it will be in stock. It certainly becomes a lot more easy and flexible for you to manage your product set. It also is a way of you staying ahead of the competition. I mean, the space is becoming more and more competitive, so there are ways of you staying ahead of the competition. And this is where the data analytics of an online store gives you that edge. Because now you'll have real-time access to data that tells you what your customers are looking for, how long they're staying on your site, and whether they like what you're doing or not. And when you know those things, it's a lot easier to make decisions using the data that's in hand. I mean, I know many of you, and in our country, getting statistics is often very difficult. So a lot of the time we make decisions on gut feel. We have found in our experience that by looking at the heat mapping of where people actually go on our store and what they spend more time looking at versus what they don't look at, gives us the edge of, well, okay, we could tweak an ad that says, we've designed ads, and when we realize that people aren't reading it, we simply take that ad off and we recreate the ad, and then we've found that we've gotten a better experience from that ad. In a traditional sense of paper and paper products, you would not have had that knowledge and would not have been able to make the decisions quickly in the space of a day or two. And then finally, all of us want to reduce our expenses. And certainly having a digital store allows you to do just that. I was speaking really when I mentioned expenses and talking about having that salesperson on your team. I mean, many of us know that having sales personal touch is very important when we meet and greet our customers. But in the world of COVID-19, certainly the digital world is expanding and more customers are well entrenched in understanding what that channel can do for them. And by extension, what it will do for you. You no longer have to invest in having a sales rep be that selling channel. Now you can have a digital store that adds value to your existing sales personnel team, but you don't have to train them because the customers train themselves online. And of course, they're open 24 hours a day and they never want to take a day off. So certainly having an online store, while requires some investment, will reduce your expenses over time. So being part of the digital transformation committee, it would be remiss of me not to talk about digital transformation in some way, shape, or form. I think that many of us are familiar with the catchphrases that come to mind on an annual basis. I mean, you've heard them. You've had disruptor, circle back, laser focus, big data. These are cliches that come and go with the wind. And one could argue that digital transformation might just be one of them. But I would urge you to take a closer look, because digital transformation is a way for you to change your company for the better. It really will give you a stronger edge against your competition and make you more profitable. I think in the context of a digital store, digital transformation goes hand in hand. And it's kind of interesting because in our journey, we knew we had to go to market. We knew we had to have the sales channel. And so we understood what the customer engagement needed to be. But by extension, having a digital store, we had to change our processes. We needed to be more innovative in how we met that digital customer requirements. And in just having that online store, we were able to get the data analytics. So in having the data analytics, you then can make different changes. So the transformational journey for us, what started out to be a very simple idea of, okay, we'll have an online store, let's sell to this customer. We recognized that our digital transformation began to begin, and it started off very slowly. It isn't an overnight massive change for everyone, but that incremental change allows for more people to be on board, customers get to know you, and from there, you just see one after the other success, one step at a time. And in having that understanding of what that data store can give you, the data from the store can give you, you then quickly realize what other areas of your business you can transform. And I mean, that's just money in the bank, So I would urge you to use your digital store as a means for your own digital transformation, and don't poo-poo the idea in any way. So what will you need to consider with your store? Again, this is our personal journey. And I have outlined for you 6 areas there. The different areas would be branding and personality for your website. It doesn't have to be your existing brand of your current store. You can change it accordingly depending on what products you want to put on your store. Your inventory availability, pricing strategies, product information, imaging strategies, and integration with the bank. I mean, I think all of you are familiar with these categories, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on every single item. But I think for you, you may want to consider a couple of components. You need to look at all, but more importantly, look at a couple of components. The first one is the imaging strategy. 2 years ago, when we started off, having one picture on the screen that was static was all that was required. But over time, we've recognized that that doesn't do it anymore for our customers. They need to see more of what your inventory looks like. It means taking pictures of every single angle of your product, of all the products. And more videos are becoming more popular. And then, of course, augmented reality. That's even more important and different. And augmented reality speaks to, I think if you were looking at paint colors, that'd be a good example of you taking a picture of the wall in your house that you want to change the color of. And on the screen, the website can show you what that color would look like in that room. And that would be an example of the augmented reality. And then, of course, the inventory availability would be another key factor. And inventory availability is not just the physical delivery of the inventory. I want to talk here a little bit more about as well the inventory of your products online. You know, again, what is the stock of imaging? What is it? What structure do you have for that inventory? What's it going to look like? What are you going to sell? Why are you going to sell those products? And then, of course, why or how will you deliver it? Well, it would be house to house, home to home, you're going overseas, or the ever-present curbside delivery, which has become our customers more and more understand that, which makes it change more easily for our customers. So once you have your store up and running, what would you need to consider in managing your digital store? And there's lots of things to talk about here. And in the interest of time, didn't feel like we could go through all the things, but so I picked out 4 components which I think are most important. Certainly the process mapping would be a critical component, your inventory, the governance that operates, and then of course your overall operations. So here you can see an image of what your customer inventory journey could look like. And I think in terms of us, or you looking at your store, you may want to design and map that journey for yourself so that you can understand what does the customer have to go through, or what would your people have to go through in order to deliver to your customer in the time frame that you set out. Some things that you want to consider when you're looking at your process. You want to make sure that you're very clear. You want to make sure that it is extremely easy for your customers. You want to have measures, SLAs, and you want to make sure that they're all known by your employees. Because it is kind of difficult when you have a negative experience with your customer. I'll give you a personal experience that I had. A very strong retailer in our country, I won't mention who they are, went online and they have an amazing sale in the latter half of the year. So of course I saw their online store, I went online, I'm like, great, I'm going to be able to buy these products. And because I'm not a shopper at length, I figured, well, I told the store that I wanted to pick it up in the store, so I bought it online. I went to pick it up online. I went to pick it up in the store. When I went to the store, even though the product was on the shelf in the physical store, I was told I was not able to take that product home that day because they had decided that that product had to come from their warehouse. So their delivery time of 3 to 5 days was really for them to move their product from their warehouse, wherever it was, and move it to the store where I could then pick it up. And so they had created a separation where I couldn't just go through the normal channel of picking up my product and walking out the store. I had to go to a different desk. I had to wait. I really didn't have a very good experience. So all that to say to you that your processes that you map out need to take into consideration something like that. Whether you want to pick it up in your store, whether you want to do curbside delivery, or whether you want a customer to receive it where you're delivering it, it must be clear to everyone in your company how that's going to work out so that your customer enjoys an amazing experience. Of course, at the end of the day, we are selling products. So the inventory management is a critical component of what that is. For us to manage our inventory, of course, we made sure that we had integration online with our ERP system so that our online store reflects what we have in inventory immediately and in real time. However, we also took it a step further where we created an online store committee that meets very regularly to review the performance of the store, track the inventory levels, review all the issues that are occurring, and look forward to what is being planned. This is how we can anticipate problems that may be occurring and solve them quickly. You'll note on the slide that an inventory management solution will trigger business growth in 2 ways. You can save on software costs and reduce revenue losses through canceled orders. And this is particularly important. Online customers have lots of places that they can go to. When they land on your site, if you have the product there and they buy it and then you turn around and say it's not there, it's going to take more effort and more money for them to come back. So of course, having accurate inventory is critical. But along with having accurate inventory, you want to make sure that the quality of your inventory or the quality of your inputs are equally important. The last thing you need is for somebody to buy a product and for it to be delivered, whether it's curbside or delivered to their house, and the actual packaging of the product doesn't look great, or it's not the right color. All of these things will give the customer a negative experience and impact on your store's growth. I would urge you, if you can, to use integration as a critical component of your inventory management. It doesn't have to be online if you can't, but even if you were doing in a batches process, so at the end of every day within 24 hours, it is important to have that accuracy. Keeping your website updated and always looking for ways to show off your inventory is also an area that you want to take a look at, and make sure that you have somebody looking at it and managing it on a day-to-day basis. And the final element of inventory management, I would say for you, is something that is the creation of seasonal events. You can, with your digital store, create new seasons of growth of sales for you by just by the marketing of that inventory. And either it could be all of your scratch and dent kind of season, or for Amazon, they do an Amazon Prime Day. Or another instance would be for us, on the 20th of every month, we have a sale on that day. So every day, every month, more and more of our customers are recognizing, oh, on the 20th day of the month, they can come and get a special. And that drives that seasonality and change and growth of sales in your inventory and manages everything for you. It all gives you a great experience, and your customers have a wonderful experience as well. On the subject of governance for us, and I would have said earlier that we would have had somebody on our inventory in our online committee store who gave us ideas of what our policies needed to be. And these were just some components I think are critical to the online store setup. And they are, of course, having a policy around the order confirmation and acceptance, ensuring that you have a policy around what is your delivery and your shipping costs are going to be, whether you're going to deliver within 3 to 5 days. And if the person wants it before the 3rd day, what is the cost of that versus if they needed it after that. Making sure that you have a policy around your returns, your warranties, or your refunds. I think traditionally people say, well, you can do a return within 7 days. A digital store customer is probably going to expect that they could return it and get a refund in less than 7 days. So these are things you need to make sure that you have a document around. You want to have a policy around your errors and fixes. What are you going to do in case there is an error? An example of that would be, we had a customer recently who clicked on the word order just at the time when the electricity cut out. So she wasn't sure whether, did she place the order, did she not place the order? So she then placed the order a second time. And we had to make sure that we could understand the person's error, that it wasn't 2 that she wanted, it really was just 1, and making sure that we fix that in real time for her. And of course, what is your customer service messaging going to be? What we found during COVID-19 is having our digital store, creating that communication with our customers was very easy for us to do. We were able to share with them the impact of having curbside delivery, when they could come, and how that was going to work just by simply updating our policies online. And I would say that it worked really well, because during COVID lockdown, because we were delivering to essential customers, we were able to meet their needs quite easily, having this store available. All right, so having digital store, I think, again, there's just these straight components that you want to look at for your operations. Making sure that your content is fresh, updated, accurate, and personal. More and more, we're finding that having that personal touch with your customers, you'll find that they tend to buy more. In fact, they're saying that customers will spend 48% more in their shop if their shopping experience is personalized. And having the data to back up what customers like or don't like allows you to create that personal touch quite effortlessly. Of course, as I just said, having the data means that you can make decisions. The measurement, the tracking of your transactions and how it's occurring is also critical. And we do that on a monthly basis. Your inventory management, whether it's physical or digital, is also important. Making sure that you can forecast, anticipate, know what you're doing with your inventory ahead of schedule means that your customers will have a great experience. And then finally, the marketing and the promotion. How do you create those seasons that I was talking about? What does it mean to you? How do you build it into your culture? And creating that wave of growth for your digital customer as well as for your physical customer. And then the back-end support, making sure that the bank does do the clearing and settlement so that you do receive the funds in your account, making sure that the commissions are paid, ensuring that if something does go wrong, that personalized touch to that customer can be effected through that a call or physical reach out to the customer, whether it's on an email or any other means of communication. So all in all, nothing different to what you're probably doing right now, but it certainly is an extension, and making sure that all those things are in track and working seamlessly gives that customer a great experience with your digital store. So what were the lessons that we learned in our experience? I can say that there are probably just 6. Making sure that you have good imaging for your sale is very important. Amazon right now will request that you actually have 7 images, if not more. They must have high definition. If you don't have those things, your profile as a supplier is going to be lower than that of a supplier who has all those things. And of course, the higher profile you have is the more that customers are going to see your product first versus not having your product. I would say that making sure that you have a call to action allows for customers to come to your site, take a look at what you want, and actually purchase. If you don't have that call to action, giving them something to come to the store with, then it's likely that they'll just touch on you and then move away to someone else. Accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. Of course, we all know that if we don't have the right price on screen and there's an error, that's just going to cause mass confusion across the board. So having somebody double and triple check what you're going to put online is something that you want to take a strong look at. In terms of our journey, I would say that meeting or beating your standard delivery is a critical space, and it certainly was a lesson learned from us. Having that opportunity to deliver, even though our policy says we're going to deliver in 3 to 5 days, we actually will deliver within 24 hours or 48 hours, depends on where you are in the country. But we have found that just having that alone with no additional cost to our customers means that customers are more excited and they're more willing to come back and buy from us again and again. I'll give you an example that we had free delivery for the longest time. And then one day we said, well, we might as well start to charge because everybody else was charging. And we actually saw a decline in our sales because we were charging for delivery. So we had to go back to the old way of not charging for delivery. But I think that keeping it simple is also an equal part of it. Customers don't want to go through a difficult time. They want to come online, buy the product, have it delivered, and start to use it. So make sure that you keep all your processes as simple for them as possible. And with all that said, you need to start small and build on your successes. You don't have to go to market with the entire range of 2,000 products. And then finally, having our online committee really helped us make great improvements as we went along. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Anna. That was very, very helpful. I think comprehensive, so much so that Earl has all of 7 minutes to speak for his
Sorry
part.
about that.
Just to let you know, I'm teasing you. Just to let you know that this webinar is part of our digital transformation series, as I would have mentioned, and is made possible through our title sponsor, Republic Bank, our platinum sponsors, Digital Business Solutions, and PwC Trinidad and Tobago. And I must tell you, our next webinar at 11:15 will feature two very thoughtful and experienced speakers, one from digital, talking about the Internet of Things and how that's impacting the manufacturing sector in particular, as well as from PwC India's office, talking about automation and so on and the impact on manufacturing and business. So do feel free to check those out. They're also free as well. In the meantime, for the next 9 days, our HSSE conference is online on demand at amchamtt.com. There were some fantastic sessions on cybersecurity where we were discussing the increased attacks and ransomware attacks in Trinidad and Tobago specifically, as well as considerations for cybersecurity more generally. There were 17 panels. They touch on things from mental health to the environment to process safety, cybersecurity, and working from home, as well as the future of work. We had a fantastic session with the Chief Personnel Officer and PwC's global guru of the future of work, as well as our local guru of the future of work and chair of our digital transformation committee, Zia Payton. And all of that is available on our website, www.amchamtt.com. You will have to buy a pass if you want to access the conference, but it's well worth it, I assure you. So up next, though, is our next presenter, who is Earl Rennie. Since starting a fledgling e-commerce startup right out of school and using those learnings to move on to establish the digital marketing agency Quaviz almost 15 years ago, Earl has been able to leverage that out-of-the-box viewpoint for a number of clients that he's helped build, scale, and optimize. The focus of these endeavors has varied from Quaviz, where he is the Director of Digital Strategy, to Hatch Lab, an organic farm-to-table startup, and Fit Appeal, which is a female fitness, lifestyle, and apparel company primarily run by his wife, Lindy Ann. Earl's primary venture is Quaviz. His aim is to deliver all key digital disciplines from under one roof: digital transformation, branding and marketing, user-centered design, and web technologies. It's now my pleasure to introduce Earl Rennie.
Good morning, everyone. What I'll try to do is stick within the time frame. So I'm going to move a little quickly, but of course, right after the session, you guys, of course, will have questions. So I think we have about 10 minutes after to answer any questions. All right. So, but before I get started, let me just share my screen and share the presentation. Is everyone seeing the presentation? Is it up fine?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right, so before I get started, I'd first like to thank the American Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity, and of course, Anna for thinking of us as their trusted digital partner to co-present. So, okay, your digital store and inventory management. When I first heard the topic, I thought, how do I compress all this information into 15 minutes? And then, of course, how do I localize to keep it interesting? I went a bit differently from Anna to focus more around the technology and the platforms that will work hand in hand with your inventory management for your digital store. So I'll give you some major considerations for either making the leap to online or transforming your existing store to be more integrated. So to keep it concise and then open up the floor to questions, I'll run through a quick overview of the company, Quaviz, so you'll know who we are. then I thought it best that I set the stage for inventory management by talking a bit about the state and some of the challenges with local e-commerce. After all, without successful e-commerce, you won't have any inventory management needs for a digital store. So I'll actually start talking with the state of e-commerce and the 4 common challenges faced locally. And we have 4 challenges commonly faced with inventory management in e-commerce, 4 common solutions for inventory management in e-commerce, and then 4 e-commerce inventory best practices and takeaways. Right, so this question we actually get a lot. What does COVIS mean? So our name COVIS is a play on the Latin word covis, which translates to our tagline, to anywhere you will. COVIS is a digital marketing and strategy agency that we built to grow modern brands. We have a dedicated team of 10 consultants in various disciplines, so we're very strategic and focused on the clients that we work with. We've been in business for 15 years and have pretty much worked with numerous clients on hundreds of projects in that time, from website design and development, web applications, mobile applications, e-commerce portals, you name it. To give you an idea of our experience, some of our active clients include, of course, AMCHAM Business Solutions, Unit Trust Corporation, Ministry of Trade, Guardian General, Guardian Life, Abel, Building Solutions, Kiss Baking Company, WASA, TT Post, the list goes on. Over the past 2 to 3 years, with the uptick in digital migration and adoption for local and regional businesses, we've been really focusing on our digital strategy solutions, which allow us to work with clients to not only envision and build online platforms, but also put those strategies in place to gather the insights that allow those platforms to be profitable. So let's jump right into the first topic. The state of e-commerce and 4 common challenges. E-commerce and online business have definitely seen an uptick in Trinidad over the past 2 to 3 years, but none of that growth compares to the past 6 months during the pandemic. I don't have exact figures for Trinidad, but based on discussions with peers in the industry and our own project base, there's definitely been an increase in website development projects, online ad campaigns, and development of e-commerce platforms. This growth isn't one-sided. If you take a look at the infographic on the right, you can see some figures for the US retail landscape, which shows that consumers have also exponentially adapted. In the first 6 months of the year, consumers spent $347 billion online with US retailers, up 30% from $266 billion for the same period in 2019. Comparatively, e-commerce sales during the first half of 2019 grew just by 12.7% year over year. Online spending represented 18.6% of total retail sales for the first 2 quarters of 2020. The spike in e-commerce sales largely came from consumer spending habits in the second quarter, which was plagued by the height of the coronavirus pandemic that caused widespread store closures and stay-at-home orders. Locally, we have definitely seen an increase in online banking, online purchases, online ordering. Just an example, I can definitely attest to having used FoodDrop way more times than I probably should have. And of course, virtual meetings and conferences like this. But to benefit from this increase in consumer adoption, your business needs to be well equipped to avoid 4 of the more popular hurdles that are unique to digital businesses. First would be credit card penetration. With only 16% of the population having a credit card and only 20% of the population making online purchases, it's still necessary to offer alternatives to online credit card payments. These are some of the statistics that Anna just touched on with her presentation. Then you also have the second hurdle, accepting online payments. Shortage of available payment gateway solutions and a large gap in consumers' understanding of both the need and setup of these solutions. Then you have consumer trust. As the adoption widens to more of the population, many of your customers still may not be used to buying online and prefer the ease, personal nature, and availability of local in-store businesses. So that's one hurdle that you have to actually get over. Then you have inventory management, which of course is the main topic. When you sell products online, inventory is usually a key issue. So we'll focus on some of those challenges for your online store and how to overcome, which we'll now explore in more detail. Okay, so now to the second topic. 4 challenges commonly faced with inventory management in e-commerce. On top of traditional inventory management concerns, there are unique inventory management challenges faced by online retailers. Digital marketing strategies attract a wide audience, increasing both the number of customers and the amount of inventory needed. From small to medium to large businesses that have moved to sell online, the questions are always, how do I stop overselling products online? How do I keep track of what's running low? Which products aren't moving online at all, etc. So, first challenge. Choosing the wrong e-commerce platform is still a major issue for local and regional players. So we just give some examples of different scenarios because this is actually one of the major issues that we deal with for most clients. In a perfect scenario, you create your own shopping cart platform from the ground up and integrated all the solutions needed. So you integrated the CRM platform, you integrated inventory management, accounting, finance systems, etc. This, of course, requires custom development, which can take weeks or even months. Then you have an ideal scenario where you select a platform that already has content management, customer management, shopping cart, and e-commerce capabilities that will also be able to integrate with our local payment gateways, example, First Atlantic Commerce or WePay, which of course you guys should be familiar with. Some of these platforms are example, Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento. These are 3 of the more popular that will actually integrate with your local payment gateways. Then you have not ideal for e-commerce. There are some platforms that offer a wealth of features to develop beautiful websites, manage content, upload products, and manage your inventory, but will come with a myriad of problems for payment integrations other than international gateways like PayPal and or Stripe. So example, Wix, e-commerce, Equid, Squarespace. So let's move to the second challenge. Overstocking and overselling due to lack of data and insights. Forecasting is one of the keys to successful inventory management. When you know what customers usually need, where it is needed, and in what quantity, you'll be in a better position to meet customers' expectations without overselling or stockpiling beyond a certain point. If you take a look at the screenshot to the right, I've pulled one example of a useful report from one of our shopping cart platforms, WooCommerce, where you can generate reports for sales by date, sales by product, sales by category, etc. The ability to generate these reports and identify trends will be critical to how you plan your inventory throughout the year. So you need to have a platform that gives you this type of data. Then you have the third challenge, of course, manual inventory management that does not allow for growth. Using spreadsheets or any multitude of tools that aren't integrated or synced with your website, using a paper and pencil to manually track and fulfill orders. Of course, it's pretty obvious why this solution is not ideal for growth. It will, however, work for stores with a low number of product SKUs where inventory only needs to be updated daily or weekly due to lower sales volumes. Then we have the fourth challenge, lack of inventory visibility across multiple channels and warehouses. Larger e-commerce business owners tend to face this problem as product demand increases and inventory management becomes more complex. So if you have multiple channels, a perfect example scenario is where you're selling on your own website, on partner sites, and on your mobile app, but not syncing with your actual inventory. So sales coming in from each channel does not consider the actual stock you have on hand. Then you have multiple warehouses. This is where you have stock in multiple warehouses, but no way to tell a customer what products you have where. So the option of pick up at location A or pick up at location B is very difficult or almost impossible. So from our experience, how do we put solutions in place to overcome these challenges for digital stores? So we're going to cover 4 common solutions for inventory management in e-commerce. If you get your inventory management strategy right for your digital store, your business gains an advantage with more intelligence around buying behavior, in addition to a newfound understanding of where your products are in their life cycle. First solution, you have manual allocation of online only stock with no automation. So this is the main solution for online only micro and small businesses that find it difficult or too expensive to invest in or integrate inventory management software with their website. For example, you notice that you're running low on a product, so you enter your new inventory levels manually from the admin panel of WooCommerce, and it will reflect that availability on your website. So in the image on the right, you'll see where you can easily manage stock quantities for products pretty easily using a shopping cart solution like WooCommerce. As products are sold, purchased, or manufactured, you can manually adjust the stock quantities as needed to reflect actual availability. Understandably, this solution will not be ideal for growth since it will not allow easy management of multiple sales of multiple products per day or per hour. Once you get to that stage, you'll be ready to choose one of the other automated options I'm going to cover. So you have the second solution, which is automated option 1. Integration of your e-commerce store with your inventory management solution for multi-channel selling. So this is the main solution for online businesses that already have an inventory management solution to manage their offline sales. Example, you have Dynamics 365, you have NetSuite ERPs in place already. So this is usually a lot more technical than option 1 and takes weeks and sometimes months of development and testing. So take that into consideration. For example, a customer walks into your physical store and purchases red dress. So you run the order through your point of sale and your backend inventory solution reduces red dress by 1. Within a few minutes, the inventory management solution also tells your website to reduce red dress by 1 without any manual intervention. So your website inventory is always in sync with your offline inventory. And you have the third solution, which is automated option 2. So choose an e-commerce platform that offers inventory management for both online and offline stores. This is the main solution for many retailers that choose to migrate their point of sale solution to an option like Shopify Plus. That will manage your website and provide a point of sale option for your physical store. So it will manage your website and provide point of sale for your physical store. So for example, a customer walks into your physical store and purchases red dress. So you scan out the red dress with Shopify's point of sale, and since your inventory in the store is shared with your website also immediately reduces red dress by 1 without any manual intervention. I'm sure you can see why this is ideal for many retailers that choose to go the route of clicks and mortar. The physical store's inventory and website inventory will always be in sync since they are both powered by one central solution. Then you have the fourth solution, which is outsourced fulfillment or dropshipping. Of course, this option is not very common in the Caribbean due to the lack of dropshipping suppliers, but in some cases, the manufacturer of your products will be the source that does all of the distribution or dropshipping. So they will handle your product right to your customer's front door when you receive the order. For example, a customer visits your website and purchases red dress, you receive the order and send to your dropshipping partner to fulfill and ship to your customer directly. This frees you of any inventory management woes once you've selected products that are evergreen and your dropshipper never goes low on stock, or products that are manufactured on order, which is also called just-in-time or JIT delivery. So now let's recap and go over the 4 main takeaways. So we have 4 e-commerce inventory best practices and takeaways. Choose the right platform. Select a shopping cart solution that not only has excellent inventory management options, but can also allow local e-commerce payments. Get a grasp of online product demand and forecasting. Choose a platform with sufficient data to understand regular and seasonal demand for specific products or product categories. Set minimum stock and reorder levels. So choose a system that can automate alerts for low stock levels and put a process in place for automated reordering. Also be sure to centralize multi-warehouse inventory. When inventory is spread across multiple warehouses, you need to have one central location for easier online management. That's it. So, any questions?
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Earl.
That was very comprehensive between both you and Anna. And although I don't have anything to sell, I feel like I want to set up a web store now. So I might just call you. I just need Anna to help me figure out what I could sell. If you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I haven't seen any yet. I saw Siljan was asking. There we go. I think I see some. So can you go a bit more into why Wix and Squarespace are not ideal, Earl? And before we do that, can someone from the TTMA tell us, we have about 5 minutes, okay? So
Mr. Tawari, good morning.
Hi, Christian.
So please feel free to answer the questions, give or take 5-10 minutes. Yeah, please feel free to answer those questions.
Okay, so we'll go to 9:40 max. So Earl, why are Wix and Squarespace not ideal?
It's just a matter of being able to integrate the payment gateways. You see, one of the problems is that if you have a local bank account and you actually want to accept payments on the website and have that money be deposited directly to your local bank account, you need to integrate the website with a payment gateway that is integrated with a local bank. Wix and Squarespace actually don't necessarily allow that integration with the local payment gateways just yet. And usually whenever we have to try and integrate those, there are a lot of problems that arise just from trying to integrate the payment gateways with those platforms. So they don't necessarily have it as open as possible for us to be able to integrate. So that's usually why we go with platforms that allow us to integrate with local payment gateways. So things like WooCommerce, Shopify, Magento, we are allowed to actually integrate with local payment gateway with those without having any major problems. So that's usually why we try to stay away from the Wix and Squarespace options, only because of how close the system is.
Okay, so I see a question here about which is the best e-commerce platform, and we see a number of banks in the COVID period have implemented solutions. So do you want to discuss that to some extent? And I would make a plug that Republic Bank is a sponsor of this series,
Yeah, definitely.
and does offer one of the solutions, but there are many.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when it comes to the different payment gateways, I would definitely say just review each of them to see which one has the better rates, which one allows you to integrate easier. We have First Atlantic Commerce, Republic Bank does have the option. You have WePay. It's just a matter of looking at the different features and see if they fit into your company. I can't say which one is the best and which one is worse. I mean, they all allow you to accept payments online, and they all allow you to get that payment into your bank account. You have some that will allow you to set up a lot quicker than others. Let's say, for instance, if you go directly to First Atlantic Commerce, the setup could take anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. Sometimes, if you decide to go with WePay, you could probably get that set up in about 2 or 3 days, if so long. So it's just a matter of you weighing for yourself if you're willing to wait, or if you're willing to say, okay, I want this solution implemented today or tomorrow. And then, of course, looking at the different rates, because, of course, you're going to have monthly rates, you're going to have per transaction rates. So it all depends on how it is your business wants to actually integrate. So I can't say there's a best or a worst. There's definitely not. It's just how it best fits into your company.
Okay. Earl, can you give a little more info on the payment gateway options, FAC/CXPay in T&T, and also can a refund to customers be facilitated by the FAC gateways?
In our experience, yeah, because yes, you can do the refunds from the FAC payment gateway because we have actually set up.
And FAC is First Atlantic, yes?
First Atlantic Commerce.
Yeah.
We actually have not worked with CXPay. I know there are another available payment gateway. We work with both WePay and First Atlantic Commerce, which are pretty popular options right now. First Atlantic Commerce definitely does have the refund options, so you can integrate that directly into your website. So let's say, for instance, somebody makes a purchase, you can go back into that website within a certain period and do a refund, which will refund directly from First Atlantic Commerce back to the person's credit card. So that is possible.
Okay. And are you comfortable with the security and support of local banks with respect to electronic merchant accounts?
I actually have not seen any issues with the security side from local banks with the merchant accounts. We've actually not had any issues with any of our clients per se. So I am pretty comfortable with them right now because we have never run into any major security issues or any security issues, as a matter of fact, with the local banks.
Okay. All right. So we'll ask you, Earl, not to put goat mouth on anything, as we say over here. But Earl, someone is asking you to make a pitch for your business with an emphasis on small businesses. So do you offer starter packs, specifically lower consultancy fees for startups?
Well, one thing we don't do is necessarily charge for consultancy anyway. We have an ideal client that we work with. It's usually a client that wants to either move from one stage to the next in e-commerce. We usually don't necessarily work with, I don't want to say basic websites, but any client that says, okay, we have a strategy that we want to use for online, and you want to adapt that strategy from your offline business to online, or even have a full digital strategy in place, those are the type of clients that we work with most of the times. It's not that we don't work with different sizes, because we do have a lot of small businesses also. It's just a matter of how, I'm not too sure how to put it, but let's say, for instance, how strategic you want to be online right now. That will usually be our ideal client, because in terms of the consultancy that we do, it's not necessarily to say that we do website design and development. We do design and development, and then we also work with you on a monthly, daily basis moving forward in terms of getting the strategy in place. So yes, we do work with different sizes, and we do have rates for smaller businesses. We don't have packages though, but in terms of getting consultancy rates, yeah, we do have rates that will actually be a little better for small businesses, because we do have micro businesses that we work with.
Okay, and I guess we could find you online, yeah, and get all your information.
Actually, the name Coviz, the website is coviz.com. So it's as short as that.
Okay, right. Yes, the presentation slides will be available. Earl, are you sharing yours? I know Anna is sharing hers.
Yes, I'll send my
Will you
slides.
share your slides?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll send them to everyone, and we will make this webinar available on the TIC. Well, however, TTMA wants to keep the webinars up after, because I think they will. So also, Ian, you can't pitch your business now. However, we are doing something with, well, Kariri is doing something that we are partnering with them on in a couple of weeks, and we have your email address from the sign up list, and we will send it to you as well, and that may give you an opportunity. Anna, you mentioned selling internationally via Amazon, specifically setting up a warehouse or having Amazon manage a warehouse for you. The question is, how do you get our local products from T&T to the US? And I'm assuming they don't mean like ship it. I think they're asking for a little more of the nitty-gritty.
If you want Amazon to do logistics for you, you just sign up on their site. You can sign up for that service. They will indicate to you where or which warehouse they would like you to ship the product to, presumably closest to where you think your customers will be most likely to buy from. So if they're on the East Coast of the US versus the West Coast of the US, I was advised that they will also possibly tell you to ship to not just one warehouse location, but to multiple ones. Again, presumably to meet the demands of where the customer is and to reduce shipping costs to the client at the end of the day. So you really, it's all driven by AI. So I would urge you to check out the Amazon website, because a lot of all of their information is there. But it's interesting to note that they do the logistics piece of warehousing for you. So they'll track everything from inventory management from the time they receive the product to the shipping out to the customer.
And of course, the terms and the fees and so on.
Oh, they're all there.
are part of that information that's there.
Yeah.
So that's one of the interesting things about digital transformation. I remember at Christmas time last year, I had some family over, and they were going back, and at the time they wanted to change their flight, and so I reached out to a friend at the airline, and he said, check the app. And it was much easier to check the app than to try and have someone physically manage a change. And the point I'm making is that with proper implementation of technology, you cut out the inefficiencies, including the room for corruption, but also it makes a customer experience very, very seamless. It's either they had seats or they didn't. And if they didn't have what you wanted, then you communicate with someone who tries to help you. And that's all done online and transparent for you to see. So on the point of Amazon, just check it out and see. And then, of course, I'm sure if you need help after that, Earl or someone like him would be happy to work with you on that. Yeah, and who knows, maybe Anna will go into consulting to set up local businesses on Amazon as well.
Well, Nirad, anything is possible with digital transformation.
That's true. All right, well, I think we've answered all of the questions, at least all that I've seen. Let me just double check the Q&A. Yep. So I think we've answered all of the questions, which means Anna and Earl, you hit it out of the park. Someone is asking, go to Amazon.com to get that information. Anna, where specifically on the Amazon site would you get the information?
You would have to be, you'd have to go under the supplier piece of it. So you'd have to scroll down and go hunting for it. But it's there. It's, Amazon has no one that you can call. Everything is on the site. Everything.
Sure. So Amazon.com, and then you just look for supplier information, right?
Yeah.
More or less.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Just remember, please do the survey that's in the chat so we know how effectively we were able to meet your needs and what next we should do to help local businesses. And I think, well, my survey rating is 10 out of 10. Anna and Earl, thanks very much. I thought this was very helpful. And I really appreciate it. I think I have some oranges coming in. I'm going to set up a web store for my oranges or something. Remember, this is part of AMCHAM T&T's digital transformation series and this series, the Tech Hub Island Summit. We hope that we'll be able to have that event next year. It's usually in May or June. So check the techislands.net website around January, and we'll know by then. And of course, check out the AMCHAMTT.com site for the HSE conference, which is on through the end of next week, up until next Friday, and all content is on demand. There's some very, very useful stuff in there. I think any one of the sessions by itself would be valuable, but 17 altogether make it even more valuable. And of course, as you check out the exhibition at the TIC, also check out the exhibition at amchamtt.com. We have about 30 exhibitors there, again, for the next week. And anything related to the safety industry, you'll see over there, and some of the bigger players in the oil and gas sector as well. So thank you to the TTMA, to Christian, Ramesh, Franca, and the team. We really appreciate all that you have done and the collaboration. To Amjad Ali as chair of the Productivity 4.0 Committee, we're happy to collaborate and to continue the collaboration as we try to improve the business environment in Trinidad and Tobago. Do check out the exhibitors at the TIC. We know that that's a big part of what is being done here, and the exhibitors take a lot of time to set up their stores. And also, as we said, check out the exhibitors at the AMCHAM exhibition, which was extended. They weren't intended to overlap, but I think we all are dealing with the technological challenges. Maybe Earl, you'll have to help us with that next year. So yeah, somebody, Mellison, and yeah, is posting the links to the Amazon information, so you guys could check it from there. Thank you very much for that, Ms. Molino. Hope this was a great session for you. Do fill out the survey. Thanks very much, and see you at 11:15 for the IoT and automation with two great international speakers. I think it would be quite useful. If you enjoyed this, you should enjoy that. Have a great day. Stay safe. Sanitize. Wear your masks.